Let's do this. Harriman State Park with the Honda CB650R. This is a 650cc inline 4. So this is part of Honda's Neo Cafe lineup. I rode the CB1000R a couple of years ago. 1000cc. Big bike, or 140 horsepower. That was a lot of fun. This is an inline 4 650cc, so it makes less power. It's hella fun. The handling is awesome on this twisty road here at Harriman State Park. It's very responsive. Handling is very neutral and responsive. We got Showa suspension front and rear. Front, I think it's got the big piston with 4 1/4 inch travel. In the rear we have a Showa with about 5 inches of travel, just over 5 inches of travel. This is a really fun bike on a road like this. This sit-up riding position makes it really easy to see through turns and adjust the body. Speed comes pretty easy to this thing. Changing the line is relatively easy too. The motor really needs to be wrung out to get the most out of it. It is only a 650cc inline 4. You know, the 600cc's are known to be very peaky motors, and Honda obviously chose to make this a 650cc. They don't have any racing regulations to comply with, so it doesn't really matter. So the 650cc, it's still a small displacement inline 4, so you still need to give it the beans, but it does have some torque in the lower rev range. Not a ton, but some. Motor sounds nice. Motor sounds really nice, especially when you get it up in the rev range. But the noise starts at around 4,000, 5,000 RPM, so even under normal riding situations, it sounds nice. But you really gotta, if you want to get a good punch out of it, you really gotta rev this thing out. See, again, there's a lot of hikers and bikers here, so no full sends. But the engine really starts to come alive at around 8,000 RPM. Don't hold it at 7,000 because it gets real vibey at 7,000. There's some resonant frequencies at 7,000 that are gonna tingle you to death. But this handling is nice. This is a really nice bike for a road like this. It's flickable and lightweight. I think it's about 430 pounds. This has one of those LCD displays that I normally hate, the white on black. I saw one on the Rebel 500 and it looked cool, but it was functionally terrible. And I said some bad things about it. But this is this display, this reverse LCD display is actually a lot nicer. It is a lot more legible in changing lighting conditions, a lot more contrast, so it's all good. So I give Honda credit where it is due. It does look a lot nicer. So the seating position is pretty standard. The foot pegs are basically below my hips. My femur angle is a little better than 90 degrees, but then my knee angle is pretty tight. when I have my foot on my toes or the balls of my feet on the foot pegs. So it is a nice standard semi-sporty riding position, which is nice. And again, I love these wide bars and sit-up position on tight roads, because it really gives you good vantage point to see where you're at and what you're doing. The wind blast, I mean, it's a naked bike, as you can see. The wind blast hasn't been that bad. I mean, I've been on the highway with this thing at let's just say at New Jersey highway speeds, and I didn't feel like I was getting blown to bits. And especially in the summertime, naked bikes in the summertime are where it's at, especially when it's hot and humid. You get that nice fresh breeze. This bike, I'll show you later, it's got the beautiful chromed exhaust headers, 4 beautiful curved exhaust headers, kind of reminiscent of the 70s era CB400F. They're clearly inspired by that. And it fits perfectly with this Neo Cafe Racer style. Yeah, I mean, at this power level, you've got no problem keeping up with interstate traffic. You know how that can be these days. You have no problem with traffic. But the bike is still light enough at 430 pounds. It keeps it very maneuverable on tight roads and in urban situations, going through downtowns and stuff like that. It's a really nice combination of weight and power, I think. If you're a seasoned rider and you're looking for a bike with a lot of punch to hit the twisties with, this bike works. You've just got to love kissing you've just got to love kissing red lines, right? In order to pull the maximum power out of this, you're gonna have to really hit those, you know, rev this thing out if you want to ride this thing aggressively. This is a great second bike for someone who started on a 250 or a 300 or a 400 or something like the Rebel 500, right? And they've decided that, you know, my riding style is going to be a little sportier, so I need something that's less cruiser-ish and more sporty. And this bike will certainly do that in spades. Wow, there's a cop up ahead. It's not there's a cop up ahead. There's a cop up ahead. It's a Honda, so it's really well finished, really well appointed, very refined. You've got an adjustable brake lever here, 5-position adjustable brake lever. You cannot adjust the clutch. This does have traction control and ABS. Yeah, the 6-speed clutch and transmission are typical Honda, right? Really slick, really smooth, almost effortless. No clunkiness, no the pressure on the shift lever is, you don't have to be too firm with it. You just gotta touch it and it just upshifts. So a mature beginner rider can buy this thing and basically ride it for 5 years, right? And do all sorts of things with it. Start with local trips, right? Throw a bag on it and start doing weekend trips, right? You could do track days on this thing if you wanted to. You could then throw a bigger bag on this trip and go for a week at a time, maybe 2 weeks at a time. And then at that point, you're 3 and 4 years into riding, and you can figure out what kind of bike, where your next bike evolution is.